Zach Wilson bench Mike White is in. Justin Fields is expected to play Week 12. Jamar Chase expected to play Week 12 according to Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. We got Pacheco season underway. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of breaking news right in front of your face. We're going to break it all down, talk about the fantasy football impacts, talk about what the impacts are to the teams. We got a lot to dig into. I'll take your questions. We might even open up the phone lines. Dake first in the building. James Flat in the building. What's up, Flatty? Appreciate you all being in here. File on in. Frake, Peanut Butter, Albert, Nathan, Tyler. What's up, everybody? File in. Hit that thumb up button. The Fantasy Football Show, it begins right now.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado
live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everyone? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. If everybody would do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We got 150 in here already. More will file in. Please punch that thumb up button. Let's hit the news desk because we have a lot to discuss.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Yeah, buddies. We got so much to discuss here. There's so much to unpack. Let's start off with the Zach Wilson being benched news and what that means. Mike White season is potentially in full effect. Now, you can make fun of Mike White all you want. You can say he failed. You can say he threw a bunch of INTs his last game. He's also playing with an injured arm. He's also a guy that threw 400 yards and 3 TDs the week before he injured his arm. And then the team never really turned back to him to give him a fair shake. And so I'm kind of excited for Mike White to get an opportunity to command a very talented team that Zach Wilson hasn't been able to command. I'm pretty excited for Mike White to be able to surgically dissect the defense, which I believe he can do with his skill set. Maybe he doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. Maybe we'll see if he can open things up or just be a dink and dunk type passer, which is what he did in his successful 400-yard debut last year when he had 405, I believe, in 3 TDs. But I'm excited to see the opportunity unfold for this kid, Mike White. And in super flex or 2 QB leagues, Mike White should be grabbed. And he's a potential solid play for anybody looking for a second quarterback and you're struggling at that position in a super flex. Dynasty, he's got some appeal, some value. I'm not thinking Mike White's a for sure lock to be this team starter moving forward. We don't know what's unfolding for this team, but we do know that Mike White gets a shot to prove doubters wrong, and I'm pretty excited to watch it unfold in Week 12. So, Zach Wilson, what's it mean for Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson, in my opinion, even though Salah and the coaching staff has made it clear this isn't the end of the road for Zach Wilson, it's more of a reset, a learning opportunity. I don't know how you come back from this situation. I don't know how you turn back the clock and instill confidence and respect in the locker room in regards to Zach Wilson under center. I think Zach Wilson probably doesn't develop properly in New York based on this. We've seen Mac Jones get benched and never really return to a high level of confidence. Zach Wilson is unable to take accountability. Zach Wilson is unable to guide and effectively command this ship. And I believe that we're looking at a potential situation where he never really regains the respect of his teammates or the ability to confidently command this squad. So I feel like Zach Wilson's time as a starter in New York is done. Do they give him another shot? I mean, look at Mac Jones getting another shot. It all depends on Mike White. If Mike White comes out and drops the ball, doesn't do well, then maybe they turn to Flacco once, and then they go back to Zach Wilson. All will depend on how good Mike White is under center in weeks 12 on. So we'll find out, but it will be an exciting situation to watch as it develops and matures before our very eyes. But Zach Wilson has been benched for Mike White, and a lot of that has to do with the way he handled the press conference after the game, taking no accountability for his loss. When Justin Fields said, "Hey, that loss was on me," apologizing to his teammates, his defense after the game on Sunday in Week 11, saying that one's on me. His defense had respect for him. His defense said, "That's our quarterback." But when asked if he feels he let down, and the guy I'm saying he is Zach Wilson, let down his team when he couldn't move the football down the field or score, and asked point blank, "Do you feel like you let down your defense?" He said, No, I don't think I feel like I let down my defense. It created animosity in that locker room, and they can't have that. And that's why he's gone, and he probably won't return as a starter unless something happens to this man, Mike White, who finally gets his shot to start. I'm excited for you, Mike White. Prove all the haters wrong, my guy. Go out there and drop fire. This news is interesting. It's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary. Ja'Marr Chase, according to Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, Joe Burrow said Ja'Marr Chase hip is expected to play Week 12 against the Titans. Now, nothing concrete has come out to confirm this. This is Joseph Burrow, but when Joseph Burrow speaks, we all listen. And so it sounds like there's a really good shot, and the plan is to get Ja'Marr Chase onto the field in week number 12, which is a little early. It feels a little early to me. I don't know how excited I am that he's not getting, one more rest. I mean, he's so shortly removed from crutches. Now, I'm sure it's weight-bearing use of crutches, not no weight-bearing use, because no weight-bearing use of crutches up to this point, like, if it was several days ago that he was off them, would have put him in a big state of atrophy. And anybody that's been on crutches for like 10 to 12 to 14 days knows that you actually have to learn to walk again. So clearly he's been on crutches in a sense to just get off the leg as much as possible, let the hip heal. it's going to be tough to say how in shape he'll be, how game ready he'll be, how much fatigue he'll have during the game, given he's been using crutches for a big part of the time frame he's been off. But Burrow, expecting him to play, if you have Ja'Marr Chase, you must run him out in your lineup no matter what. If he's playing. If he's playing, you're playing him. Unless there's some kind of news, which I will certainly alert you to, unless there's some kind of news suggesting that he's going to be used as a decoy, or he's going to get like a very limited amount of reps as they work him back in, then we can have a discussion around whether you should start somebody else or Ja'Marr Chase in your lineup at week number 12. But until we find out that Ja'Marr Chase until we find out something negative, we've got to assume positive. We've got to assume that this man is going to be a potential, 80 yards to 100 yards and a touchdown threat on Sunday in week 12, even if he's limited a little bit. So definitely feel like this is good news and scary news, because it feels a little early to me. But there's different degrees to this injury that people always, ignore when they speak about it from a medical perspective. There are grades. There's grades 1, 2, 3. Whenever you're talking about an injury, there are severity levels, but there's also variance in between those severity levels. So if someone has a grade 1 or a grade 2, not everybody's grade 1 or grade 2 is the same. So a lot of people are talking out of turn as to how injured for sure his hip was, or how much time he's going to or expected to miss, or how much damage there was, or would he need surgery, or if he went out there and did this, would he tear it and completely be screwed for the remainder of the season and put 2020, the beginning of 2023, in jeopardy? We don't know. No one knows. No one knows but the doctors that are treating Ja'Marr Chase, and they clearly believe that this man is ready to roll in week 12 if this in fact ends up unfolding the way it looks like it is, where Ja'Marr Chase is set to play week 12. We will find out. I'm excited to get my Ja'Marr Chase shares back on the field. I'm sure you are as well. So congratulations to anybody that has Ja'Marr Chase in week number 12. Justin Fields was cleared to practice on Wednesday. There's been a lot of chatter about whether he could be shut down. What's it look like? What's the prognosis look like with his shoulder? He had the hamstring issue as well. It was holding his hamstring during the game, according to some reports. Look, I'm worried about Fields right now. This offense he's doing a lot of this by himself. He's doing this by himself. And I feel like, Mooney's looking good, at times. I feel like he's running for his life for a reason. And while he's an amazing fantasy football producer, you've got a shoulder injury and you've got a potential hamstring injury that has evolved due to, all the beating, the amount of sacks this man's taken, being absolutely blasted more than any other quarterback in the NFL, and being chased around and making him do everything with his legs. Here's the problem. If this guy's banged up and he can't run the football to the degree he's been running the football, he's not the same fantasy football quarterback. So I'm not saying bench him for anybody that you have on your roster. I'm talking about people that own Fields. 80% of the time they own a Joe Burrow, they own a Josh Allen, they own another quarterback that's potentially a top 5 quarterback, because Fields was never drafted to be anybody's starting quarterback. Anybody that has Fields had the luxury of taking him, holding him, watching him develop, and then making a decision of, okay, do I put Fields in there over my top 5 quarterback? I'd say maybe 65 to 70% of the time, anybody that's had Justin Fields has had a better quarterback initially in front of Justin Fields. So if you have Lamar, if you have Burrow, if you have Josh Allen, if you have any of these quarterbacks that are considered to be a top 5, 6, 7, top 4, 5, 6 quarterback, you may want to strongly consider, based on the news we hear and how his hamstring looks, just consider, maybe going with those quarterbacks in week 12 until we figure out what's going on with Justin Fields. Because if he's limited at all, like if he can't run the way he's used to running, then he doesn't score the same. I do still start him over anybody that's not like a top. Like if he's starting week 12 and you don't have a top 5-ish quarterback, you got to play him. Like you can't be playing 8 to 12 or even 7 to 12 overall projected quarterback scores over Fields, even if Fields is potentially hampered, even if Fields is an injury risk, even if Fields is running for his life. And they don't want him to run anymore with the said injuries, the hamstring and the shoulder. You can't sit him. You can't sit him for mediocre options is what I'm saying. But if you have one of those bigger gun players that you've been contemplating all year in regards to who do I start, this guy, do I start that guy, that's the quarterback you might need to roll out there. Now, are we talking about Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. Are we talking about Tom Brady? Probably not over Fields. If Fields is playing, you're playing Fields. But if you've got Lamar, you've got Burrow, you got Josh Allen, you got those other quarterbacks, you need to maybe give them a look this week instead, even though you're tempted to go with Fields and he's been balling out. I'll have more on Fields and whether he's healthy and ready to go later in the week, because we don't have a locked-in answer yet on whether Fields is going to play. He's going to practice. We'll see how he feels. Kyle Allen will start Week 12 against the Dolphins. This is a shame for Davis Mills, who I thought had a lot of upside walking into the season. Clearly, he's not ready to be a starting quarterback or didn't have the support he needed in Houston. Either way, he's out. Kyle Allen is in. I don't know how good this is for the entire offense or what it does for the ability to move the football down the field. I suppose it could be looked at as a good and a bad thing for a guy like Dameon Pierce, because now they're going to lean on the run a little more as they try and ease Kyle Allen in, and they can't lean on Allen like they may have tried to lean on Mills at times. But at the same time, will they move the football down the field effectively? We don't know. And that could lead to more 3-and-outs, which will be bad for game scripting, which could even hurt Dameon Pierce's value even more, who's struggling to get the carries and the volume we need consistently throughout the entire game. This could be a bad or a good thing. There's always different theories on whether a bad quarterback coming in helps the run or actually hurts the run based on the things I just described. And no one really knows how it's going to unfold. It depends on if Kyle Allen can keep defenses honest to a degree, and then Pierce can have a good day, and then continue to have a good day, and then the team's kind of in it and able to run the football. We'll see. We'll see what Pierce can do. I do worry about Pierce a little bit going forward. I think he's a talented guy, but I definitely have my concerns about his situation. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been placed on injured reserve, which means his Isaiah Pacheco season full effect. Now, granted, there's still a couple running backs getting touches in KC, but I think coming off a career game and extremely high usage out of week number 11 and week number 10, we're looking at Pacheco season in full effect. Pacheco is the starter go forward. Pacheco is the de facto touch leader in KC, and Pacheco is elusive and has a skill set that I think could turn him into a low-end running back to go forward. So fire up your Isaiah Pacheco shares, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire's out a minimum of 4 games, and it is time to get our Pacheco players, our shares, our copies of Pacheco into our lineups and start seeing what we can get out of that. Joe Mixon is still in concussion protocol. Make sure if you have Mixon, you pick up Samaje Perine, who will most likely get a boatload of work if for any reason Mixon can't go in week number 12. Not still being in the concussion protocol is not great news at this point, given that it's Wednesday, but we'll find out more information on this as the week unfolds. That is your news. I appreciate everybody watching. We can open up the phone lines in a second. Let me get these super chats out of the way. First super chat is from Tyler. Tyler says, first place 8-3, Cousins, JT, Swift, Patterson, Hill, Jets, Godwin, Andrews. Don't feel confident with my running back 2 and QB. Would you recommend trading Andrews? I think I worry more about Cousins than I worry about anything else, because having an elite quarterback is a big deal. I think Cousins is okay. JT, Swift, Patterson, not bad runners. I don't mind that. I think Swift does get a little more work. I think JT is going to be a beast down the stretch. You do have that week 14 bye, but at 8-3, you're not too concerned with that. Patterson, I think, is solid go forward. Swift as your flex play, because I consider Patterson your running back too, is not a bad running back gamble to take at this point. The fact that you've got Tyreek Hill is you're in Godwin, you're fine at wide receiver. I'm not trading Andrews. I think given that you're gonna create one hole in the ship by trying to, you don't want to create another hole in your boat when you're trying to fill another hole in your boat. You're just gonna move the hole around, bro. You know, if you take Andrews out, what are you gonna do at tight end? So my thinking here is that I feel I have enough confidence in Patterson and at least like the idea of Swift as your third running back to not make any moves. I roll out this team. This team's pretty solid. Unless you get an offer you can't refuse on Andrews or Tyreek Hill. Let's say somebody says, here's ETN and St. Brown for Tyreek Hill. That's something I would do. Offers like that, I would shop Tyreek Hill if you could get that insane Kenneth Walker, top 6 overall, top 7 overall player with a St. Brown, with an A.J. Brown. Something insane where you're getting two potentially, potential top 5, top 7 players at each position for your number 1 overall, number 2 overall wide receiver in Tyreek Hill. Past that, you roll this team out, you let it ride. You've done a good job. You're 8-3 for a reason. Now go get them. DJ Meat Missile with a super chat. Pacheco, Olave, Daniel Jones for Brady Kittle. Accept it? No, I don't accept it unless you're like, is Brady going to be your starting quarterback? Is Danny Dimes really your quarterback, Meat Missile? If he is, I don't know what to tell you on that, but I'm not trading Pacheco or Olave for that kind of upgrade. Kittle doesn't, I'm not excited about Kittle because he had one good game. This offense is loaded. They played the Arizona Cardinals that were depleted, that actually started off the game pretty decent defensively against the Niners, but then broke down because the defense was on the field and they got tired. I'm not looking at this game as a breakout game for Kittle or a harbinger of things to come for Kittle's production. Kittle is a player that I'd sell high, not acquire on the medium or on the high. Brady, I like Brady a whole lot more than I like Daniel Jones, but I'm not giving up Olave and Pacheco in my lineup to make that happen. If you've got depth and you're not even using Pacheco and Olave, it's a little different, but go after a different quarterback or go after just Brady. Kittle's not bad, if you're going to acquire him if you've got no tight end, but not in this deal. I don't like this deal. I like the idea of Olave. Olave's a low-end wide receiver 1 to me in some ways, and for depending on your league size and all that, but I think Olave is going to flirt with low-end wide receiver 1 numbers. Go forward. I'm not trading him. Superflex, Danny Dimes versus the Cowboys, Goff versus the Bills, Mike White versus the Bears. Thanks for all the advice, Smitty. Love the show. Look, I'm probably going to go, man. Goff is maybe safer than Mike White. I don't know that I love Danny Dimes against the Cowboys defense. Mike White is probably the guy I would roll with, but you're playing a little bit with fire. You're rolling the dice. Goff is safer. There's some risk involved in that too. None of those are great options from a fantasy perspective, to be honest with you. At Superflex, it's okay, but nobody should be starting. As much as I love Mike White, as much as I hope to see Mike White thrive, you don't need to... You don't need to start him in a 1 QB league, unless you're decimated, which, I have bigger fears for you if that's happening. It was the other way around. I'm trading away Brady and Kittle for Pacheco and Olave and Jones. Yeah, as long as Jones isn't your starter, I absolutely love the trade. I still do it then if it's the other way around. How did you word this? Pacheco, Olave for my Brady. Okay, I'm sorry. My Brady and Kittle. I read that wrong. I'm sorry. Then yes, I take Olave and then Smitty approved. I do hope you have a better QB option, though. I will say that. Hopefully you do, DJ Meat Missile. Appreciate you. We're going to open up the phone lines here and take your phone calls, talk about your teams, talk about your situations, handle your dilemmas. Let's go.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show. Appreciate you all. Got all this crap all over the board. My fault. Okay. Another super chat here while we wait for the first caller. QB Herbert, Geno Smith, running back Eckler, Walker, Wilson, wide receivers St. Brown, Olave, Lazard, Muth. Trade Wilson, Lazard for Keenan Allen, Foreman. I probably take Keenan Allen and Foreman. Yeah. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
What's up, Smitty? It's James Flatley.
What's up, James? What can I do for you, James?
How you doing, sir? I appreciate you going live this early talking about the news. I have a couple just quick quarterback questions with all the news today. As you were talking about Justin Fields and waiting for updates later in the week about his injury. But my only other option is Dak. Would you play Dak Thursday against the Giants over Fields this week?
Would I play Dak over Fields? I don't think I play. If Fields is playing, I don't think I sit Fields for Dak. No. Would I sit?
Can you hear me?
Would I?
Okay.
Yeah. We can hear you, bro, but you're on hold.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Look, unless you're running another quarterback out there that's like top 5 capable, I think you got to put Fields in there if Fields is starting. Like, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night if you didn't roll Fields out there with like a below 6 and below type of quarterback. But if it's a top 1 to 5 guy, I think or top 1 to 4 guy, you got to strongly consider going that quarterback over Fields, unless we hear like he's no longer on the injury report or like something weird like that where we feel very confident. But the fact that there's been talk about them shutting him down, which I don't know that it's come from the team, a lot of speculation from news outlets and such. But I mean, shoulder, hamstring, guy's a runner. You're relying on him running the football. There's reasons to be a little concerned if you're lucky enough, and most people are that own him. Either they traded out of their other quarterback option and now they only have Fields, or most people that didn't make any trades at quarterback that drafted Fields have Lamar or Josh Allen or Burrow or someone like that ahead, because no one drafted Fields to be their starter. So it just depends on what you've done with your team since. But I don't think I could start Dak over Fields if Fields is on the field. But Lamar, yes. Joe Burrow, yes.
Perfect. No, that makes sense. I was leaning towards Fields anyways. The only issue I had, like I said, is Dak plays tomorrow, so I don't have the time to wait. But, yeah, I'm leaning Fields. The only other question I have, quarterback, I have a league like Geno Smith, which I'm happy with, but I just picked up Deshaun Watson. I know it's hard to kind of predict right now, but what are your just overall thoughts? Do you think Deshaun is going to be a fantasy viable quarterback?
I think he needs to be owned. Certain teams need to roll him out. I get it, but I'm not really excited about him yet until I see him come out. He hasn't played football in so long. He's got a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of rust. We saw it in the preseason. He didn't look great, but it was a short window of time and ability to watch him play. So, we can't really judge him too harshly on that. But I don't know. We'll see, man. And I know everybody's excited for Amari Cooper, but it's like Amari Cooper's doing well now, changing everything up. We don't know what that's going to do. I do feel like if Watson can return to form, then Amari Cooper will do well. He's always done well with one wide receiver. I mean, look what he did with Hopkins. I think Cooper could thrive, but at the same time, we don't know what Watson's going to look like. You don't know how he's going to adjust and adapt to everything. I think in Cleveland, he's going to get a standing ovation and not feel, the same kind of pressure he will on the road when he hits the field and, faces all that pressure. I don't know. We'll see, man. It's a lot of pressure, and he's been out a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Like I said, Geno's been great, but I think if I'm going to make a playoff run, I need something a little better. So try to make a trade, but we'll see what Deshaun has. So that's all I have for this meeting. I appreciate the time.
All right, James, appreciate you. Now let's go to interrupting Ian. Let's go to the interrupting Ian. Ian, what can I help you with? Hello?
Hello, Liddy.
Who is the guy that was saying it? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We're calling you interrupting Ian.
Hey, I'm sorry, Smitty. This is my first time.
No, it's all right, bro. I'm just messing with you. What's your name?
You're fine, man. My name's Karth.
Kars?
Yep. P-A-R-T-H.
Oh, okay. What's up, my man? What can I do for you?
All good, thank you. Yeah, so I had a question. I'm currently in a PPR league, and I have to pick 2 out of these 3 players. It's between Gabe Davis, Dalvin Cook, and Jeff Wilson Jr. Now, normally Dalvin Cook would be an auto start for me, but I think given the Patriots defense, I was just having my doubts. So was curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, Wilson's an interesting play. Like, Could I see Wilson outscoring Gabe Davis and Cook? Yeah, I mean I could. I wouldn't blame you at all for wanting to start Jeff Wilson, but it would be hard for me to bench Dalvin Cook. We can take it to the chat for you. Chat, what do you think on this one? Give. I'm sorry, Parse. Is that? Am I saying it right?
Yep, you said it right.
Give Parse your vote on this one. Cook, Gabe Davis, or Jeff Wilson. I'm sure it's going to be between Cook and Jeff Wilson, but I'm curious to know if the chat would rather roll with Jeff Wilson in this matchup, or do you guys think that you just can't bench Cook? You know, there's a saying that I've said for 20 years, 20 plus years, always start your studs, always start your studs. And how many can you play? One or two?
I have to put one at running back and then one at flex.
Okay, then yeah, I'm going to say bench Gabe Davis. But someone said bench Cook. Someone said, okay, so we can roll with two of them. My bad. Okay, so Cook and Jeff Wilson for me. Like, I love Gabe Davis, but in this situation, I mean, you can't bench Wilson, you can't bench Cook, and then based on my question, it's pretty torn between Wilson and Cook. Like, so they're definitely your 1 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, my only fear has been that the best two games Gabe Davis has had this season have both been on my bench.
Yeah. Well,
so every time I bench him, he apparently decides to
that's
pop off. So.
That's good for the rest of us then, because a lot of us have Gabe Davis, so we would appreciate you taking one for the team, put him on the bench, let him blow up. You can't sit Cook and Wilson though. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a tough decision, but it sounds like your personal suggestion is Cook and Wilson.
Well, yeah, I think the rest of the chat is too. So, I mean, am I wrong? If you guys are playing two of these guys, you're benching Gabe Davis, right, guys? Monitor the chat, and they'll let you know what they think. But yeah, I would put Gabe Davis on the bench, man. I hate to do it.
That's helpful.
I hate to do it, but could he blow up? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think with the lines, I heard the cornerbacks are banged up too. So
not to confuse you.
Could have a good chance.
Yeah, not to confuse you, but I think he has a big day. You're probably like, damn it. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Later. All right, next caller. You are on the show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My guy, this is David, the bodybuilder.
Davis, what's up?
I missed you at the gym last night, bro.
Yeah, I got pulled my back.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes, but anybody listening, he's joking. This is the guy with the weightlifting avatar that I always mess around with. And whenever he super chats, I pick up a weight and we pretend we're at the gym.
My guy.
Yeah.
Hey, love the show, Smitty. Love what you do, brother. Just got a few questions, man. So I got AJ Brown and Devontae. So with Dallas being hurt, I know maybe last week was kind of a fluke or maybe it wasn't with Devontae getting way more targets than AJ Brown, but if that tends to happen, I mean, I'm already locked in for the playoffs. Mentally, I'm going to have a hard time sitting A.J. Brown over Devontae, but if Hurts is getting way more targets to Devontae, I mean, is that something that I might try to do in the future? I mean, do I need to sit A.J. Brown if it continues to go that way?
Devonta Smith, yeah, A.J. Brown's the guy. You can't sit A.J. Brown over Devonta Smith. I like Smith. I think he could have a sporadically good, performances, but they're going to be followed up by a potential dud. So you're going to start him at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You can't sit A.J. Brown. As long as A.J. Brown's on the field, as long as he's healthy, he's not limited or used as a decoy or something because he's banged up, you got to go with A.J. Brown. I don't think there's any. This is what they call getting cute. This is what they call getting cute. At the gym, this will get you hurt. Okay, you got to stick with the plan. And A.J. Brown is not somebody you toy around with benching. At any moment, he could have 100 yards and 2 TDs.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, my last question is, so I had the King at running back. I have Ramondre and Jeff Wilson as, like, really my next two go-to. I've always had Ramondre pretty much going second RB. I'm really on the Jeff Wilson trade with McDaniels. I think he's going to just keep getting better and better as the season goes forward. What do I need to do as far as those two guys?
Yeah, you can't sit Jeff Wilson right now until further notice. And then if that changes, it changes. Good. At least you'll know before playoff time. But you can't sit Jeff Wilson for Stevenson until like Stevenson had a boatload of carries. I think it was like 15 carries last week, but it was like 2-point-something yards per carry. It wasn't looking good.
Yeah.
That offense isn't looking good. There's a big difference between the Miami Dolphins offense and the New England Patriots offense. And when you're talking about a potency and ability to get near the end zone and score points, Jeff Wilson's got an overwhelming advantage, even if he's sharing carries with Mostert all game, which he isn't, always doing. But if he was to share carries, he's still got way more opportunities to score than Stevenson. I will say that Stevenson, because he catches the football so well and could be the team's leading receiver on any given game and any given Sunday, I think that he's still got the opportunity to hang with Jeff Wilson, but you do have a little bit more of a potential like bad game capability here with Stevenson over Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson's too exciting right now. The offense is too explosive. I couldn't keep Jeff Wilson off the field if it were me, but I will say it's not time. It's not. You shouldn't give up on Stevenson. But it just depends on the scenario. This scenario, I like Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with Ramondre. He's always got that upside because of his catch passing ability.
Yep.
Last thing, Cooper, man, is he good for a flex the rest of the year? I mean, I had him out of my lineup last week because it was a quote unquote away game, and then it came back to backfire on me. Is he somebody I can just plug in?
It depends on the option.
It
It depends on the option, but Amari Cooper's playing really well right now. He's at least a wide receiver 3 or flex for sure. But it depends on your options. If you got Stevenson and Cooper, then you got to kind of weigh all that out each game. It's a game by game type of thing. But he's certainly going to be a great option in that type of wide receiver 3 or flex role. But what will Watson coming onto the field do? Cooper's doing well, and I don't know that change is always like invited because you don't know how that's gonna jive. It takes Cooper a long time to get adapted. It feels like, in my opinion. So who knows what it does for him? But all right, bro.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Awesome show. I'll see you at the gym tonight, bro.
Later. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. See
what's good? This is Broseph.
Who is it?
This is Broseph.
Broseph, what's going on?
Hey, man. I got a long question for you. I'm in a 12-man PPR that starts 2 flexes. And I just want your advice. Should I make a move here or stand pat? I got Hurts, Barkley, Sanders, Diggs, Christian Watson, Dulich, ETN.
Let's do that again. Hurts, Barkley, ETN. Who else?
Yeah, Miles Sanders.
All right.
Diggs.
Okay.
Christian Watson.
You can go a little quicker than that.
Dulich. And I picked up DeMarcus Robinson.
Okay. I'm not wasting my marker on that, but go ahead.
On my bench, I got Pacheco, Dante Foreman, and Paris Marshall, and Darius Toney.
Okay.
Should I stay a pat or should I just chill?
Barkley, ETN, Sanders, Diggs, Watson, Hurts. I mean, it's pretty good, bro. I mean, the only thing you can do is take like a Diggs or a Barkley. No one's going to give you enough for ETN. No one's going to give you enough for Sanders. Take a Diggs and a Barkley and turn them into 2 players. I don't know that you need to do that because, you're diluting one player to get more. And I don't know that you need to necessarily do that. Would I trade a Foreman and a Watson for one better player? I think I would. So I would consider trying to just find packages for that. Would I trade Pacheco and Watson for one better player? I suppose I would. Depends on the package you could get for that. Who's your tight ends? Dulcich. Would I like to get Andrews using a Foreman? Yes. Throw Foreman in, get Andrews for Dulcich. would I trade Christian Watson and Dulcich for Mark Andrews? 1,000% yes. Would I try and upgrade Christian Watson into a Lamb or something like that, giving up a Foreman or a Pacheco with Christian Watson? Absolutely. Those are the packages that I'm making. Those are the only things I'm looking to do. Upgrading Dulcich into Andrews, upgrading Pacheco, Watson into one slightly better player. That's it. I guess Sanders,
Okay.
I would maybe upgrade Sanders into it. Like maybe you could get into I don't think you're going to get into like a Kenny Walker using Sanders and Pacheco or Sanders and Foreman or like Sanders, Foreman, and Christian Watson. I know that would deplete a lot of your depth, but it's like if you could get a Walker doing something like that, then obviously you do it and you just deal with the ramifications. But you'd have to get someone, trying to upgrade Sanders. It wouldn't be the end of the world to upgrade Sanders into a wide receiver because you got Barkley and ETN and you got Pacheco. So if you could keep Pacheco, you could take Sanders and Foreman and Christian Watson and turn that into a wide receiver, and get like a Lamb or somebody in that spot. Then you've got a little bit better balance with a couple deficiencies or voids. But, I'm okay rolling with the void or two or going with the gamble if I can upgrade my lineup.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. This super chat, I don't know if I finished this super chat here. Trade Wilson, Lazard for Keenan Allen and Foreman. I think I do take that. I do like that. That's a decent move. This one from Casio says, yeah, super flex this week is tough. My starter is Herbie. Yeah, Herb's fine. I think Herb bounces back. He's starting to look like, he's got Keenan Allen back. I like that. I like what I'm seeing out of Herbie. I think he develops back into at least close to where we had him. Got offered Evans and Rashad White for Kirk. I'd take Evans over Christian Kirk in a heartbeat. Might counter with Kirk, Swift for St. Brown, White. Let's see. Got offered Evans and Rashad White for my Kirk. I don't know why you wouldn't take that. Might counter with Kirk and Swift. I don't know why you'd throw Swift in. I like St. Brown, but I don't know why you would throw Swift in to get the. I mean, Evans is pretty darn good, bro. I'm taking that first trade. Start Jimmy Garoppolo over Trevor Lawrence. You could argue either one. There's enough weapons there for Jimmy G to trip and fall into some stats, but at the same time, this is the first game where he's done it. The Cardinals defense is worn down. Let's not kid ourselves into thinking Jimmy G's got 3 or 4 TD potential every single game. He couldn't throw a TD pass before this game. So, Lawrence, Jimmy, they're both very low ranked quarterbacks though. So not 100% confident in either one. Would you bench Swift this week for Jeff Wilson? Absolutely. Jeff Wilson needs to be in your lineup. Doesn't mean I don't like Swift a little more and more each week, but that's not an option for me. It's Jeff Wilson all the way. Trade AK and DJ Moore for Stevenson and Rashad White. I'm not trading AK in that deal. I think you need to acquire Rashad White and Stevenson at a much lower, or who was it? Jeff. Yeah, this one right here, AK. You need to acquire Stevenson and White at a much lower value. You're selling low and buying high in that scenario. And then WRM, Pacheco or Lat Murray this week. I'm going Pacheco with Clyde Edwards-Helaire on IR. Let's go Pacheco season. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, what's up? It's Too Quick.
What's up, Too Quick?
Hey, so I didn't get around to commenting on the last videos, but I'm just letting you know I'm going to be commenting on this video.
Okay.
With my team. I'll put the basketballs down there so you see it. But so it's the same team. I know you're telling me to divide CMC.
Well, maybe. Let's hear it again. I kind of forget what we're working with. So hit me with your team real quick.
Okay. My team is. I got Dak, and I got Tua as my 2 quarterbacks.
And
one QB league, though.
One QB, okay.
And then I got CMC, Ramondre, Damian Pierce. And then receivers, I got Chase, Mike Williams, Deontay Johnson, Christian Watson, Palmer, and Landry.
All right.
And then my tight end is Andrews.
I don't know that you need to make a trade. I think if you were going to make a trade, I would definitely divide and conquer CMC. But you just got good news that Jamar Chase is back, probably. So that changes things for you. What's your record?
6-5 right now.
So you're 6-5. You need a win, and now Jamar Chase, huh?
Top 6 make it.
Yeah. Now you got Jamar Chase back. This is a different story for you now. So you have Jamar Chase, Christian Watson, Palmer, not bad wide receivers to roll out there considering you've got Andrews, CMC, and I still like your running backs even though there's some risk. I don't think you need to make a trade. I would take a trade that I would accept no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody comes to you and betters your team, you take the trade. That's the deal you do for CMC. Otherwise, you're not doing anything different than normal. You're not accepting a trade you don't want to accept because you got to divide and conquer. You don't need to do anything. This team could do it, could bring the heat at just the right temperature to win game after game after game, one step in front of the other. So I don't think you need to make a move. If someone comes to you or you cook up a deal where you're getting Kenneth Walker and St. Brown for CMC, I would take that. But that's something I'd take regardless of what the state of my team looked like, as long as I could use those players, which you could. But Watson's not bad. Palmer's not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad at all. Those are two. Some people would kill to have the Watson and Palmer wide receiver 2 and 3 options, given what else you already have. But would I potentially look to couple Christian Watson and Pierce or Christian Watson and Stevenson for a Walker? Or a little bit of a running back upgrade? Absolutely. Or a wide receiver upgrade? Absolutely. Pierce and Christian Watson for I don't even know if I would say Lamb, but those are all ideas I would look at. All right, bro.
I don't know if you're going to see it or not, but I'll put a comment on this video when it's over. With my other team, but if you don't see it, it's fine. But,
all right, no, I should see it. All right, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Looks like we got an update on Fields here. Justin Fields describes his shoulder injury as a separated shoulder with torn ligaments, basically an AC joint injury, which described to me on Monday as a dislocated shoulder with torn ligaments. Fields far from 100% going forward. His status is TBA. So that's not a good report. The fact that there's talk about him practicing today, but then this report coming out from Ian Rappaport, which is just concerning as can be. This is not a good report. This from Ian Rappaport right now. Justin Fields describes his shoulder injury as a separated shoulder with torn ligaments. I don't know why they would run him out there. Let me say this loud and clear. If you're the Chicago Bears, you are considering shutting him down. I'm not saying it'll happen, but you're considering shutting him down. So I need everybody to understand that this is not, if this is true, if there are actually torn ligaments, then they're ruining they're potentially damaging this man's shoulder for the future. I don't know that the Chicago Bears are going to want to do that, whether he wants to play or not. Just because he's out on the practice field today doesn't mean that they're not going to shut him down. So this could turn bad really quick. We'll have to keep an eye on this, but this is not a good report here. This is just now from Ian Rappaport. So I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, I got two people on the phone. One's Mario, and one is the other individual that I don't know who it is. Let's go with the unknown individual. Who am I talking to?
I think that's me, Smitty. I think that's me. So I have a pretty good team, but I think the problem that you just brought up.
You let us be the judge.
My quarterback right now.
You let us be the judge.
7-4, like, this is probably.
Okay, go ahead. Hit me with your team.
So Justin Fields, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Mark Andrews, T. Higgins, and then my second flex. So I have on the IR right now, I have Marquise Brown, and then I also have Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, and then Latavius Murray. So my problem right now, I'm not even talking about Justin Fields, so I'm a Jets fan, so I'm kind of trusting Garrett Wilson is going to turn this around. So I kind of was thinking about a move to put two of my flexes or one of the wide receivers and maybe even Aaron Jones to package into a better running back, because I do think it's a 2-flex PPR. So that second flex, I kind of trust Garrett Wilson there, and I know I wouldn't even mind Marquise Brown when he comes back if he replaces Higgins in the first flex.
Okay.
I'm kind of at a point where I was thinking about combining two to get one better, because I know I have a lot of depth right now, so I'm kind of at the point where I don't know if I should get rid of that or kind of trust that going in.
Yeah, I think I wrote this down wrong. Sorry. Okay. So the question is, you want to potentially trade what now?
So I don't know. So it's a 2-flex. So I don't know if I should go and trust Hollywood coming back.
I mean,
one of my flexes to kind of be at upper end.
What's your record?
I'm 7-4, but I am fighting for a bye, and I have the one person kind of up my butt right now.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm dividing up any of this to try and fill, like I keep explaining to people, like you're going to create 2 holes in the boat just to try and fill the one. So the fact that you have competent backups, Hollywood coming back, Hollywood's very competent, as a flex. Garrett Wilson's very competent as a flex. Burks could become very competent as a flex. Like, I don't know what you would be diluting one of your starting spots to then try and fill a spot that is going to probably be competitive with those guys anyway. So you don't do that. What I would maybe do and create another problem for yourself, which is fine with me, because I don't mind trying to solve one problem by making all the other players bigger, stronger, better. So, like, if you could take Aaron Jones using Hollywood or Garrett Wilson and upgrade them, then I do it. If you can take T. Higgins and do the same thing, then I do it. I'm not worried about trying to hit the waiver wire and find a replacement for my last flex spot. If I could turn Aaron Jones into Kenneth Walker, or if I could turn T. Higgins into another CeeDee Lamb type player or a little bit higher or whatever. So, but all in all, your team.
Do you think an overpay for using T and Aaron Jones for Henry would be an overpay?
No.
The kind of depth I already have.
I would take Henry over Aaron Jones and T. Higgins in a heartbeat and throw Hollywood in that spot and then throw Garrett Wilson and the other and Burks. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't care about creating a big void if I'm leaving one big void but beefing up the rest of my squad. I am 100% that guy that will roll with a Burks or a whoever I got to pick up off the waiver wire in my last flex spot to beef up and have a bigger, scarier, top 7 or top 6 overall, or whatever you're rolling with. And this you'd have a bunch of monsters, bro. You'd have a bunch of monsters.
Yeah, usually I hate having depth, but this year I kind of got lucky and it landed on my lap. So that's why I'm kind of thinking of either waiting or kind of going all in at like a certain spot.
Yeah, I don't mind the depth.
I do want to strengthen my running back.
I don't mind the depth, but I mean, if you're telling me you could get into a Henry or a Kenneth Walker, you got to take it. I mean, Aaron Jones will be inconsistent. What good's Aaron Jones if he's dropping you 4 points, 2 out of the 4 games that he's going to play? And yeah, he's fire 1 or 2 of them, but he's going to do nothing the other 2. And then T. Higgins, he's had an opportunity to become He-Man, and he hasn't really stepped up and taken the bull by the horns. He's kind of just been okay. So I don't know that anything's going to change too much in terms of him having. I mean, we all feel like he has wide receiver 1 capability sometimes, and then we don't, and then we do, and we don't. He hasn't really delivered. Like, I like T. Higgins. He did good last week, but he's expendable at the cost of getting a top 5 overall player. And Kenneth Walker would be a top 5 overall player. Henry would be a top 5 overall player. Barkley, Chubb, all those guys are a huge upgrade over Aaron Jones, enough to give a T. Higgins in this situation, in my opinion. And if you don't get it done, you don't get a top 5 guy, don't underpay, don't go get a guy that's a lot lesser. Roll in with this team. You're 7-4. That's a good record. Don't worry about the bye week so much. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise to be seeded the way you get seeded. People that mess with seeding, like, I'm going to lose this game so I get seeded here. It always backfires. Just let it roll. Let it ride. Let the fantasy fate seed you the way you need to be seeded, and it will work out.
Yeah, you think anything about quarterback? I got no one behind him. I just picked up Tannehill to start this week, maybe, and I'm kind of just. I got lucky. Field fell into my lap. I had Cousins before.
Well, I assume Watson's gone. I've said for weeks to pick him up, bro.
Yep.
I would.
Yeah, he's been gone since draft.
I would say Mike White is a potential option for you, but
I get to roll with the Jets. Let's go.
Well, I mean, you might as well grab him just in case, bro. Because what if Fields gets shut down? This news that dropped literally like 4 minutes ago by Ian Rappaport that there's torn ligaments and it's described as a separated shoulder with torn ligaments. If you're the Bears, are you rolling him out there? I'm not. I'm shutting him down. There's no reason. There's no reason to roll him out there. You know, like why would you? If this was your team and you were responsible for the future and you're developing this kid, like, you know what I mean? So like I don't really know why they would even consider it. Their record's 3-8. There's zero chance of them winning the division, like mathematically, and there's almost just as bad of an odds of them grabbing a wild card spot. There's no chance. They have zero chance of grabbing a wild card spot. There is nothing to fight for. They're ridiculous to roll him out there with torn ligaments and a separated shoulder. I don't know. I think this could end very badly for Fields owners. So you got to start preparing. You need to grab everything you can. Mike White, grab whatever you can and start preparing. Because what happens if the news breaks that he's out for the year? What are you going to do? You know, you're going to wish you had grabbed Mike White and just hopes that he could become something. Like Mike White, keep in mind, Mike White's failed one of his starts, like 3 INTs or whatever it was. But that was with the injured arm. So he and then the other game that he started while he was healthy, 405 yards and 3 TDs. I'm just saying, like, we don't know what he is. I can't say he's going to absolute.
The Mike White game.
I like him. I mean, I like him. I like him enough to. Thank you, Marcos, for the super chat sticker, bro. Appreciate you, Marcos, the man. Yeah, all right, man. I gotta let you go.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Deuce. All right, who's next? Let's see. Mario and then Laundromat Jack is waiting so quietly on hold, trying to change his nickname, but we're not. Laundromat, I'm not changing this for anything. It's the best nickname on the internet. Mario, you're up.
Fine. What's up, Smitty? I just want to run by some trade ideas to you, if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm considering trading for Justin Herbert and ETN. This owner, he's pretty much out of the playoffs, and he wants my Josh Allen and my Swift. What do you think about that?
He wants your Josh Allen and what?
And my Swift.
And your Swift, okay. And if there's a new caller, I just add on the line. If you could just mute your road sounds are a little loud. Thank you, pal. Okay, so Swift and Josh Allen for Herbert and ETN. I'd rather have Herbert and ETN. I just think that this is a top 7 overall player. This guy can still compete with this guy, although of course Josh Allen is by far and away, you know, the number 1 or number 2 overall quarterback for me. Swift is just an enigma at this point. We just don't know. We just don't know what he's going to become. So I'm gonna remove that caller because he didn't listen and mute himself. Just
how rude.
Background noise. Background Bobby. He's trying to become the new Laundromat, and it's not going to happen. Never. Herbert, ETN for me, but I mean, it's tempting. Josh Allen and Swift, it's very tempting because Swift is practicing more this week than he's ever practiced before. But, bro, we can't trust Swift right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, not over ETN and Herbert, but this is a close one. It's close. I mean, I don't know if the chat disagrees with me, but I feel like Herbert is a better chance of Herbert getting back to form than Swift. And we already know what ETN is.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. There's I have one more trade. If I can ask that real quick. It's the same to Josh Allen and Swift for Lamar and JT.
For Lamar and JT? Oh man, I take Lamar and JT in a heartbeat. Like that's not even close to that's not even comparable to the other trade. This all day long, bro. Like Lamar's competitive with Josh Allen. Go forward. Like I take Josh Allen, but Lamar could in theory outscore Josh Allen, and I wouldn't be shocked at all. He could also get hurt running the ball. He could also, have ups and downs that make him not as valuable as Josh Allen. Like I get all that, but the fact that this is an arguable situation at all, like this could be QB2, QB1, QB4 going forward. This right here is a top 5 overall player in my opinion. JT going forward, no brainer.
Yeah,
no brainer. Like the easiest thing. That's light work, bro.
Yeah, that's my. I haven't the Justin Herbert one that's been offered to me, but that's one I'm gonna offer to the Lamar owner and see what happens with that.
Yeah.
If I can get that, I'll be a happy
Okay.
camper. And one more thing. My bad, Bungie Matt. I have Kittle, and I'm trying to sell him like now because he just blew up. Like I need to.
Sure.
I want to get rid of him bad. Who can I package it? Should I package him with Swift and get someone else? Like who can I get with?
Go get Andrews, man. Go get Andrews for him.
Andrews?
Yeah. I mean, he's the, like, if you want a tight end, if you got another tight end like Dulcich on your bench and you're trying to go get another player, I mean, Swift and Kittle could get you a Lamb, or maybe you get lucky and get an Etienne or a Walker coming off bad weeks, and then the bye week, and you've had 2 weeks before, since owners have enjoyed any kind of goodness from those two guys. You never know. I mean, in our world, in our circles, we laugh at that. Like, oh, you can't get, using Swift and Kittle, you can't get an Etienne or a Walker. But we live in a bubble, bro. We live in a bubble that other people don't live in. And those players are vaulted up a lot higher in our world than they are in other people's worlds. So don't think you can't overreach a little bit. And for everybody that says you can't get that, Smitty, what league do you play in? Ha ha ha! Those dumb jokes over and over. I see it every single day. These trades happen every couple hours. I get a text on my text line where somebody completely rakes somebody over the coals. So if you're not going to go offer and try to rake someone over the coals, then, don't do it. But like, you're not going to land those big trades once in a while, and they happen all the time. And every single one of us has done a trade in the last year or two where we regret the trade the minute after we accepted it. So let's not pretend that every single person on the planet isn't vulnerable into making a bad trade. Everybody is. It depends on how your day's going. Depends on what news you read right before you accepted the trade. How disappointed you are in the player that you're holding, and you have an unfair expectation for him. Swift could be getting, you could be getting Swift for a ham sandwich right now for some people, and other people won't trade Swift at all because they drafted him as this first rounder, and they have this expectation that he's a first rounder no matter what. And they're not going to trade him at all. So it just depends on who you're dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. I just sent that trade. I did that live. I sent Kittle Swift. All
right, bro. Appreciate you. All right, man. Got to go to Laundromat now. Later. Laundromat, Jack, you're up.
Hey, what's up, Smitty?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I have 3 running backs. I have a lot of running back depth, and I'm wondering who you like rest of the season out of these 3. If I were to package one in a trade, which one you try and hold on to? Out of Jeff Wilson, Dameon Pierce, and Rashad White, which one would you like to hold on to the rest of the season? And which one would you might like to package in a trade?
That's a really tough question because, Jeff Wilson's the top guy on this list right now. And I think if I'm talking now and for the remainder of the season, the answer is Jeff Wilson. But
okay.
This White and Pierce combination, this is tough to break down because I think White in one game could become the number 1 on this list, or he could be forgotten. He could be like a guy where it's like, look at Tony. The Tony hype was unbelievable. And what did I say, man? I got on board. I admit. Okay, I got on board. I fully got on board. I told everybody I'm starting him. I want to be a part of this. I feel like he's going to blow up. But I kept saying, man, this is Josh Gordon. It felt like Josh Gordon. It was either going to go Josh Gordon good or Josh Gordon bad. And he's such a disappointment, this Tony guy. That's why the Giants got rid of him. He's such a disappointment in terms of like the reckless disregard he has for his own body in his situation. Like, this is the kind of guy who doesn't know what he has. He doesn't know that life is on a silver platter and it's been handed to him. He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care, and clearly he wasn't even healthy, and it's just frustrating because he is so. Tony's got Josh Gordon talent, but he's got that Josh Gordon, like, you know, roadblock that's going to prevent him from ever developing in the NFL. So I forget why I even got on that topic, but I think I was just saying that in terms of like one game to the next, Rachaad White could either be rags again or he could be total riches. And Pierce has been disappointing for 2 straight weeks. Now they're switching quarterbacks away from Davis Mills. I don't know how that's going to translate into fantasy production and game scripting and moving the football down the field. You got to think that if they go to a lesser quarterback, which he is, you know, this is a downgrade in Houston, that they're going to lean on the run a little more if they can. But the problem is if they don't move the football down the field and they can't move the chains and they get behind and then the running game gets game scripted out of the game plan, then it's like all of a sudden having a lesser quarterback and there's a hindrance on the running attack and the game planning. So it's tough to know. If they have success on the ground, then it's going to be a good thing for Pierce. Pierce could have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, or he could have 40 yards. So
Right.
I don't know what to tell you on the Pierce and White fronts other than I'm really, really excited about Rachaad White, and I think Jeff Wilson's the clear leader of this group.
Okay, so would you give up Jeff Wilson and Dameon Pierce for JT, you think? If they're just kind of depth pieces and you could
Yes.
put JT in your starting
In
lineup?
your scenario, yes. I would definitely give up both for JT. Because JT, to me, is a top 6, top 5 overall pick, potentially, if I'm drafting today.
And do you like Derrick Henry over Nick Chubb? Or is it kind of just...
For now, yes. For now, does that mean I've lost all my concerns about Henry going down? No, but with them, given we're entering week 12, you know, dice rolling time.
Okay. All right, thank you, Smitty.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, later.
All right, next caller, you're up. Who am I talking to?
Senior Road.
What's up?
What's good, man? A couple of weeks ago, we lost Brees Hall. So he told me to try to get a trade for Burrows. That fell through. But because we drafted Beasley,
Hold on. I'm
I was able to go
gonna
on a game win streak.
remove that caller because he was loud as can be. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I was able to, since then, couldn't get the trade done for Burrow. But the team woke up, went on a 6-game win streak. But my predicament is, you know, I'm trying to get ahead of the whole Jameson Williams. I got him on IR. I was trying to see who should I be cutting. I've got Tony, of course, on the bench with James Cook, OBJ, Eno, Traylon Burks, Rachaad White, and Garoppolo, and Trey McBride and Alec Pierce on the bench.
If you don't need McBride, you guys mute yourself in the background or I'm removing you from the call. If you're good at tight end, I mean, McBride, I don't know that I'm holding on to McBride. But name your worst players again.
James Cook, OBJ, Eno, Traylon Burks,
I mean,
Rachaad White, Garoppolo, and Alec Pierce.
Is Garoppolo your only backup quarterback?
Yeah, Garoppolo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Eno Benjamin's tough to see value in right now. I mean, could that change if Pierce went down? Sure, but same thing could be said for a lot of backup running backs. So I suppose you could put send Eno packing, but he's also changing teams. He's got to learn a new offense. Eno's got a tough climb. He'd have to be forced into the lineup due to an injury in order to get a lot of runs. So I probably would drop Eno Benjamin at this point. But that it's debatable between he and Odell Beckham Jr. I know everyone's so excited about him because of the hype, and it's more for like the playoff run. I think with Odell, I don't think it has much to do with the in-season port. I mean, could he do well in like week 16 and 17 maybe or something possible? But I'm not on this Odell. Like Odell's picking his team soon, And then what? He goes in, he's got to learn the offense. He's not 100% healthy. Maybe he doesn't even play that first week. Like, we're looking at maybe week 15 before we even really know what Odell's going to even potentially do, but we'll see. I could be wrong on that, and maybe Odell's exciting right out of the gate, but I don't know. It depends on where he goes. You know, the system, does he know the system really well, all that, so he might choose just the right, you know, situation to thrive early, but I would say cut Eno.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I was just holding on to him just in case he became that good RB2 out of the backfield for his catching skills. But
yeah, I mean, it's something to monitor, but
sure, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Turkey Day.
Yep, you too, man. Later.
Same here. Holla.
All right, you're next. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
What can I help you with?
So I got a question here. I just want to know what I'm starting for this week. I just got a question of, at a flex, should I be playing Tyler Lockett or should I play Jamal Williams?
You gotta play Jamal, bro. Like, the only reason. Let me ask you.
The Bills.
I know, but did you start him last week?
I didn't start him last week. I took a big L there.
Yeah, and you know why you're not starting him this week? Because you didn't start him last week. That's why you're not starting him this week. You know why? You know why you're doing that though.
He got so many points.
I know.
It's because of the touchdown.
I know, but you know why you're arguing this? This is psychology and fantasy football, bro. You're wanting to be right about last week. The reason you're not playing him this week is because if he doesn't do good this next week, then you aren't that wrong about your decision to leave him on the bench last week. You're trying to fight your own. You're trying to fight your own psyche, bro. And if you're right about benching him this week, that means you weren't that off base last week. That's what you're fighting. You didn't start him. You need to put him out there.
Yeah. Would you say Jamal or James Conner?
Jamal, bro. He's scoring touchdowns.
Jamal over James Conner?
What did Jamal just do, bro?
I know, but look at Conner last week.
Okay, and look at Jamal last week. What are we talking about here?
Okay, so as a running back, who would you put, Jamal or Conner?
You what?
Fine.
I can't hear you, bro. What'd you say?
No, so would you play, so as my RB1, I got Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
Then RB2, should I put Jamal or James Conner?
Jamal. Like after
Okay,
Jamal, after
flex, should I flex James Conner or Tyler Lockett?
Connor. I mean, Lockett's decent. I mean, any game Lockett could have 100 yards and a touchdown, or he could have 40 yards. You know, Lockett's one of those guys that, in hindsight, this is where somebody comes into my comments the next week and says, I benched Lockett because of you. Thanks a lot, bro. I don't know when Lockett's going to have his 100 yards and a touchdown, bro. He could do it at any moment. But, I mean, Connor, if you're excited enough to put Connor in your lineup over Jamal and I'm telling you, it's because of last week is why you're doing it. And I don't blame you. Like, we all suffer through that psychology, that psychological, struggle of trying to defend our actions on the previous week by doubting the player. But you need to realize you own him. No one else owns him. You own him. So congrats to you. And you should pat yourself on the back for that. You're the one that owns him. But don't keep going down. Don't be throwing more good after bad and start trying to convince yourself that you made the right call last week. It is what it is. And if you're going to make the play, are you going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I should be making.
Then don't even let it bother you and just keep throwing your best guys out on the field. And anybody in the chat's going to tell you Jamal is the right play. Connor's definitely, I think, the right play over Lockett. And the fact that you can start Connor and Jamal is good. And I'm not saying that Connor can't outscore Jamal. I think Connor has a shot to, but that's why you got him in your flex, right? I'm just saying that you can't bench Jamal right now. If you want to look at it like you're starting Connor over Jamal, fine. But start Jamar over Lockett.
Right.
But trust your gut.
Right, okay.
Don't listen to me because let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me help you. I'll guide you or whatever if you're like in a predicament. But like you need to trust your gut because Lockett could explode at any moment. Jamal could explode at any moment. Connor could explode at any moment, and all three could fall on their face at the same time or whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, bro. Later.
Okay, I appreciate it, bro.
Bye. All right, next up, who am I talking to?
Jahil,
What's up, man?
what's going on?
Not much.
All right, I just got just need some quick help on. I'm on a 4-game losing streak over here in one of my leagues, and I'm a game away from making playoffs. So I'm still there. I just want to run my team by you. I got 1 week left to potentially make any trades.
All right.
All right, so QB is going to be Tua. I got Montgomery, Rashad White, Pacheco, and B-Rob for running backs. And then I got Pittman, St. Brown, Chase, Christian Watson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Pickens, and Boyd. And then I have Mark Andrews at my tight end.
Okay. I mean, really weak.
My weakest spot is running backs.
Yeah.
I lost Javonte, and I haven't really had good luck in that department.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is you got these 3 running backs right here stepping up big at the right time. Like they could quietly you could pick off you have the team that could pick off one team at a time and just somehow, some way. I mean, you need to have Andrews, Chase, and St. Brown and Tua all balling full go. But if they do and you get production out of Monty, White, and Pacheco, I mean, bro, you could sneak up on some people. I don't know that you can do anything other than pray that it all falls the right way. There's no trades for you. There's no lineup wise. I mean, what I have on screen here is the lineup. You read it off to me. Monty, White, Pacheco, if you can start all 3. St. Brown, Chase, and Watson, if you can start all 3. Andrews as your tight end. And if you can only start one of the, one flex, then it's between probably, if I had to, it would be between Monty and Watson for me. I think White and Pacheco are probably the better players, but maybe Monty's your de facto starter for now, but I think White and Pacheco are probably the better options if it's PPR. But it's a crafty squad. I'll say that. It's not like probably the favorite by any means, but it's crafty.
Yeah. So it's a half PPR with 1 flex and 2 running backs and 3 receivers.
Hold on, we got a $20 super chat. This is from Showtime. Showtime, appreciate you. Smitty, my QB, Burrow, Fields, running backs are Jacobs, Eckler, Pacheco, Zeke, and White. Wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Evans, A.J. Brown, Cooper, Pickens. Tight end is Schultz. Goddard on IR. I'm 5 and 6. Any moves recommended? With Burrow, Fields, I'm assuming this is 1 QB. Do I see Superflex anywhere? I don't see Superflex anywhere. I would normally say trade one of your quarterbacks, but now with Fields, maybe Fields has got this news that broke just a minute ago. He's got torn ligaments. It's a tough spot to be in, but would I trade Fields? I'd trade Fields if I could and go with Burrow. But I like Eckler. I like Pacheco and White. I don't like Zeke. I would trade Zeke. I like Evans and Hill and A.J. Brown. Amari Cooper and Zeke for one slightly better player. I would consider that. I would trade Schultz for Andrews by giving up Zeke. I would give up Pickens or Treylon Burks with Schultz to get Andrews. I would potentially trade one of the RBs that are not named Jacobs and Eckler to upgrade into Andrews. And I certainly would take Pacheco or White or Cooper, Amari Cooper and Jacobs, and upgrade that player into a Walker ETN. Showtime, I appreciate your super chat. Love the team. Great job. All right, I'm sorry, bro. What else can I help you with?
No, that's it. You think I should just stay the way I am?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Hope for the best.
There's nothing for you to do, bro. You can't. I mean, you can't divide and conquer much because a lot of these players are still proving their way back. St. Brown's still kind of proving it. Chase, no one's going to overpay for Chase right now. I mean, certainly entertain offers you can't refuse, but and then Andrews, no one's overpaying for him. Tua, no one's going to overpay for him. Yeah, all right, bro. I gotta run, but go get him, bro. Prove it to us. Come back and let us know if you won. That'd be an amazing story. I like your team enough to put up a fight.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll let you know what happens.
All right, later. All right, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Smitty.
What's up?
Okay, so I'm calling Okay, so my team is 7. What is it? Let me check. 8-3. I am for sure going to the playoffs, but I lost Goddard, and there really ain't no tight ends on the waiver wire. So I need to run my team by you, see if you can give me an idea as to what players to trade for.
I got you, bro. I got you. Let's go.
All right, so I have Joe Burrow. I have Kenneth Walker. I have Stevenson. I have St. Brown. I have T. Higgins. I have Jamar Chase. I have Justin Tucker. On the bench, I have Cortland Sutton, Rashad White, Kyron Williams, Peoples-Jones, Hunt, Moreau, Pacheco, and DeMarcus Robinson.
Okay. So, Burrow, Walker, so your question is... What's the question?
My question is, being as though I lost Goddard, should I make a trade to get into an elite tight end, or
who's your
what's
tight
the
end?
possibility of Goddard coming back?
Who's your tight end now?
Goddard.
So you have 0 tight ends right now.
Right now I have Logan Thomas and Moreau, Foster Moreau.
Oh, Moreau. You said that. Okay.
Vegas looking like shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably... Walker, Stevenson, St. Brown, T. Higgins, Chase, you don't really have the flexibility to make many trades, bro. You know, is Taysom Hill available? He keeps getting dropped, and they're wanting to use him more and more. And I think that given the fact that he rotated at quarterback at times, especially during that first drive, and then ran the ball 9 times, he's still very, very got a lot of upside. Is he available?
No, the only tight end available, like top tight ends available, would be Kate Otten and say like Austin Hooper.
Otten's okay.
And the thing is, it's like people that are, as of right now, people are like quitting fantasy because they're like completely out of it, no shot at playoffs, or makes it very difficult to do something.
Yeah. What did Moreau do last week?
4 fantasy points. I think it was like 2 receptions. It was 1 reception for 30 yards. So it was 4 fantasy points.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's a better option than like trading, any other, just creating another hole. I mean, he's getting targets. He had a touchdown the week prior.
Yeah, because I have Logan Thomas and Moreau. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. I mean, your team is not really in a position to like if you could try and trade Kyron Williams or Pacheco or Stevenson for like an Andrews, I would take Andrews over Stevenson and throw Pacheco in your running back 2 spot. You'd be rolling the dice, but I mean, it's something I would consider. So if Stevenson could get you Andrews, then I take it. If Pacheco could get you Andrews, I would take it. I mean, like that type of move, sure. T. Higgins for Andrews, I might do that. But past that, I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't really trade. I mean, the tight ends like 3 through 8 are just so hard to like value. And the guy that's 8 could be 3. The guy that's 3 could be 8. I just don't know if it's worth it. Unless you're getting Andrews, I just don't know that it's worth it for you.
Yeah. Or what do you think? Or I mean, barring from making any moves, what do you think Goddard's chances to come back say during the semifinals would be?
Bro, your guess is as good as mine at this point. We don't have any information. He's expected to return during the season at some point. The fact that the Eagles are going to be probably playing it safe with them for the playoffs, keeping him rested. I mean, they may potentially bring him back in week 15, or they could say he's eligible week 15. We might bring him back in week 17 or 18, get him some work, get him ready for the playoffs. But I don't know that they're going to be. It's going to be tough to know if they're going to rush him back. Like he may be plenty ready to go, and they want to get him in a groove, and he plays week 16, week 17. But I don't. You definitely can't expect too much. I think the first game back, week 15 for now. That could change, but it's week 15 or nothing, you know. All right, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you.
So,
You got one more?
okay. Yeah. Okay. So I did get offered. Okay, this is another like out of the blue though, but a friend of mine did offer me Hawkinson for. I would have to give up Goddard, give him Justin Tucker, and then give him. Let's see. He wanted Goddard, Tucker, and then Cortland Sutton.
For Hawkinson? Yeah, of course I'd do that.
For Hawkinson. You do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's a smash. You should have led with that one, bro.
That's good.
I mean, Hawkinson could be a top 5 tight. I mean, the tight end pool's very thin after Kelsey and Andrews, and Hawkinson could be 3 or he could be 8. You know, but that's a good move.
All right.
All right,
yeah,
man.
That would leave me without a kicker.
Well, I mean, can you pick one up? I mean, you'll be fine. Or all the
True that. I mean, kickers are all the same.
yeah.
basically.
I mean, I like Tucker, but like that's worth it to you, bro. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later.
True. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. WRM. Let me get these super chats real quick. PPR 2 flex 9-2. Josh Allen, ETN, Kamara, Monty, Walker, White, Adams, Diggs, Devontae Smith, Freiermuth. Thoughts on my team? Thank you for everything, Smitty. Appreciate you, WRM. I like this squad, WRM. I think ETN and Kamara and Josh Allen are an amazing little tripod you got going on there. Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, ETN, Kamara, and Josh Allen is amazing quad pod. Adams, Diggs. I mean, bro, this was like a 10-man league. It looks like a 4-man league. Freiermuth, good tight end. You're set. You're set. Unless you can trade like, I don't know, D. Monty to upgrade Freiermuth into Andrews, you're good to go. And I would consider that. I would consider that personally. But past that, you're good to go. You're ready to roll. Lewis with the super chat. Smitty, should I start Rachaad White, possibly breakout? Also Palmer, Campbell, or Sutton at wide receiver, and Dulcich or Foster Moreau at tight end. I go Dulcich at wide receiver. I'm ranking them in order of Palmer, probably Sutton, Campbell, or Campbell, Sutton. I don't really care about that too. Palmer's the guy right now with Mike Williams injured. I think he steps up like he did in week 11. Should I start Rachaad White, possibly breakout? Depends on who you got. If you're starting him over the wide receivers, yeah, I'd start him over Palmer, Campbell, and Sutton. If depends on what other running back you have if you're weighing that out. But appreciate you and your super chat, Lewis. Kevin Williams, voicemail King says Leonard Fournette hip still feels sore after the bye week. Rachaad White season. Yep, Rachaad White season's in full effect. And Leonard Fournette essentially got benched anyway before that injury happened. So it's Rachaad White anyway. A character lying on the side. Oh, I'm reading a description of a sticker. Thank you, appreciate you. And then we got here. So Marcos, appreciate you. Kevin, appreciate your super chat. Slayers dropping a super chat. Pick 2. Running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, ETN, Walker, JT, DK, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Olave. So your 2 running backs are clear as day, JT and Kenneth Walker. Your 2 wide receivers are Amon-Ra and Olave. And let's see. Oh, sorry, ETN. I was wondering where the extra player was. Okay, so your DK, you sit DK. Amon-Ra and Olave are your wide receivers. ETN, Kenneth Walker, JT are your 2 running backs and a flex. That's an easy one, Slayer. It's hard to put DK on the bench. The only one you consider benching for DK would be either Amon-Ra or Olave, and I couldn't do that. I like DK. That is hard not to play DK, but that is a really, really good squad. Castro, hey Smitty, should I start Mike White or Goff? I probably roll. Let's save this one for Ron Navy, who I have on hold for a second, and we'll attack that question in 1 second. I'm 9-2 half PPR flex Deontay or George Pickens. Deontay Johnson's not the number one wide receiver in Pittsburgh. It's George Pickens, and we said that in the beginning of the year, and that wasn't well received. But Pickens is the guy. He's the more talented player. He's Pickett's guy. There's no debate here. George Pickens, throw him out there. Let it ride. Thoughts on Kyren Williams? Kyren Williams is a good potential stash. I don't know about playing him yet. It depends on your situation. But certainly he's the PPR guy in LA. But it does look like Akers is still commanding a lot of the first and second down work, but that could change really quickly. Cam Akers coming back from that torn Achilles tendon that does not give him a lot of explosion. I think Kyren Williams could replace him on the first and second down work, but he's locked into that PPR work. Hurts, Allen, rest of season. Give me Allen rest of season, but Hurts is very, very close. With the weather with Josh Allen and the injury, it does make me waver a little bit. Like maybe Hurts is safer. Like Hurts is probably safer, but Allen, I can't rank Allen below Hurts yet, but they're neck and neck. They're both top 3, so it's not disrespectful to either one. Spacula with a super chat. Spacula says, sent another trade in sniping Sons of B. You don't have to check the second. No, I'll check Spacula, but you keep sending me these really bad lowball offers. I appreciate you. You know how much I appreciate you. But these offers are awful every single time. These offers are some of the worst offers I've ever seen, Spacula. They're just not. They're not deals that make my team better by any means. Okay, this next one that he sent me: receive Njoku, Foreman, Hurts, and a 24 first rounder for Travis Kelce and Mahomes. This is the same thing you sent me the other day, Spacula. I don't know why you're continuing to send it to me though, because I have no interest in trading Mahomes and Kelce for this package, and I don't even know that this is different than the other one you sent me. I don't know what's even remotely different. Maybe it was Foreman. I don't know what you added, but I'm not. This isn't a dynasty league, of course. Kelce potentially will drop off eventually, but I have no interest in this package at all. I appreciate it, Spacula, but I'm not trading Kelce and decline. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. This next one, Njoku, Hurts, Rondell Moore. And so you're throwing Rondell Moore in instead of Foreman. No, Spacula, I don't want any combination of those trades going forward. I don't want to trade for that package whatsoever. I'm just letting you know, I appreciate you. You are my dude. I like that you're sending me offers. No one else is offering trades, so I appreciate that, but I'm just telling you, you're wasting time. I don't want to trade Mahomes and Kelce for anything remotely close to that. Pick one PPR flex. Lat Murray, Gabe Davis, Garrett Wilson, Antonio Gibson. Give me Gabe Davis in that scenario. Lat Murray's pretty interesting, though. But give me Gabe Davis. I don't trust Hackett. I don't trust Denver. And I'm not putting my faith in a player like Lat Murray over Gabe Davis. But Lat Murray's an interesting trade piece right now. Pick one PPR flex, Lat Murray. Oh, I just did that one. Ron Navy, hang tight real quick. I'm almost there. Ron Navy says, Houston, we have a problem. Speaking of the quarterback situation and probably the Dameon Pierce situation. Henry Tamars, baby, says Ron Navy. Thank you, Ron Navy, for that super chat. And this last super chat from Ted, my Mixon for his ETN. Of course, we're taking ETN. Do I need more back? No. If you can get more, obviously get more, but I like ETN over Mixon. I draft ETN over Mixon. Everybody here drafts ETN over Mixon. Thank you, Showtime, for that $20 hauler that you dropped. Ron Navy, I'm sorry, there's a couple more that just came in. This one's from Al-Azbahi. I think I'm saying that right. To the moon with your $10 hauler. Running back Carter, Fournette, Rashad White, Singletary, Etienne, Pollard, wide receivers Mike Williams, JJ, Juju, tight end Andrews. Who do I start in my 2 flex spots? Rashad White, Etienne, and Pollard are my 3 running backs, so that should answer your flex question. And then JJ, and I mean, you need to get another wide receiver because Mike Williams is out, and Juju, we got to see how his health is, but you might need to look for another wide receiver. Andrews is a fantastic tight end. Nice job. Appreciate your super chat. Please follow up if I didn't answer that correctly. Thank you, Terry, for letting everybody know about the super chats that I was getting to them. I tried super hard. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm trying to find all these. AG says, is Fields droppable now? No, bro. Like, what do you mean droppable? Why on earth would you drop Fields? You know, the Fields hasn't been benched. The season isn't over yet. This news right here is concerning at the very least, but Fields is not droppable yet. That is not, that's not even remotely close to what I said. Make sure you don't overreact to this, but make sure you prepare and plan for the worst. Worst case scenario, they do shut him down, but he could start this week. You can't drop him. There's just not at all. You need a backup plan for sure. Dolphins defense, yeah, they're great. They're a great pickup and play. I got Josh Allen and Eagles defense. You should trade away Fields right now while you still can if you've got Josh Allen on roster. But no, you do not drop Justin Fields, bro. Jacobs and Waddle for CMC and T. Higgins. I take T. Higgins and CMC in a heartbeat and run. I like Waddle. Jacobs is playing well. It's not a horrible trade. It's not a take-a-lap situation, but give me CMC and T. Higgins. T. Higgins is close enough to Waddle, and Jacobs is not close, is as close, relatively speaking, to CMC. Thank you for your super chat. Now we are caught up. Ron Navy is in the building. Ron, what can I do for you?
What's up, Smitty?
What's up?
Hey, yeah, Terry's on patrol. I just want to say, good to see you, Terry.
Terry's on patrol.
Terry's on patrol.
What's up, Terry? Let me see. I got that button here.
There it is.
Terry's on patrol. Terry's on patrol.
What's up, Ron?
Yeah, a Trump Force back a ways. He said that he saw an interview with Justin Fields saying that the coach told him if he feels like he can play, then he's playing Saturday.
Yeah, but
And then my problem with this is when does the coach take the responsibility? Because it's the coach's responsibility. Because the player's always going to say, I can play, I can play, I can play. But when's the coach step in? Why does he leave it up to the player? That's my problem. Is he shouldn't. He should say, no, we're not. I don't want to put you at any more risk. You're not playing. Bottom line.
Yeah, whenever there's like a pain tolerance type of thing, I think that's the right move. Let the player decide. But this is not. This is torn ligaments. This is a potential where he could damage things further. I think given that this coaching staff is probably pretty safe, given that they're brand new, to not worry about wins and losses, like their job is not necessarily on the line this season. I think they're given some leeway to walk into next year with a new plan of attack and some developmental season here. They've been trading away players for the now to develop, and they're worried about the future. I mean, they made a lot of moves this year that were very future geared. They're giving away now talent for the future and draft picks, and so this coaching staff is for sure going to have leeway. I don't understand why you would risk Fields at all if he's got torn ligaments and a separated shoulder. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're putting a running quarterback who's going to take a lot more hits than the average quarterback in the future at risk and jeopardy of having future shoulder problems. You know, look at Dalvin Cook and how much of a risk he is. And if Fields is going to run a lot going forward, this is a dumb move to not hold him back. At least let him rest a game or two. I know no one wants to hear that from a fantasy perspective, but what do the Bears have to gain? They've got 3 wins. Why would you not, at least if you're going to play him this year, rest him a couple games, let his shoulder get better? This is a dumb move. Maybe he's going to get advice, Ron, to say, look out for your future. You got 3 wins, Justin. Don't go out there and ruin your future. And maybe Justin Fields he's a smart kid. He's a smart kid. Maybe he makes the decision to sit. You know?
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't know.
But you know what I do. A lot of times these players, they'll put their bodies out there and ill-advised, and they'll do it. If you leave it up to them, then next thing you know, they're being carted off the field, and guess what? You're out for over a year or you're done. Your whole career's done. So hopefully, I would think the coach would. I think that's the coach's responsibility in my opinion, is to say, hey, no, we're not.
Yeah. Hey,
but
hey, Castro's question here: Mike White or Jared Goff, or as you call him, Golf. Who are you starting? The Golf Meister, or are you going with the Mike White experiment?
I just picked up Mike White in one league, and so I was like, I kind of interested in that, but it depends. If I have nothing to lose and I'm not in the playoffs, I go Mike White just to see. But if I'm fighting for the playoffs, I kind of got to go with Golf just to be safer.
Yeah, I mean, Goff's got the Buffalo Bills in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. I feel like that could be good or bad. I think it could be a shootout, or it could be a real low-scoring game for the Detroit. I don't know. It's tough to say. And the Lions are running a lot. They want to continue to run a lot. So it's tough to know what that offense is going to look like. But I have a feeling that we see a St. Brown touchdown. I don't know if that means that Goff has one touchdown, though. You know what I mean? Like, it could be one of those games where the Bills actually have I don't know. This is tough. Turkey Day is tough to predict. I would say probably I lean Goff maybe. I think I answered this question Mike White earlier, and I think I'm leaning for that other individual. I'm leaning a little bit more toward Goff. I hope Mike White looks really good, and I think he could look effective. He could lead this team to a win. I just don't know if it'll be a fantasy football like explosion. So I'm going to be rooting for Mike White procedurally, like, being a surgeon on the field. But I'd probably say Goff's got the better potential for fantasy production. And the Bills, they can be exposed. So, I think it could be a shootout or not. I'm hoping it is a shootout. So I'm going to go with Goff.
Here's the thing is, no matter how bad Detroit's team is, whatever, but historically, no matter how bad their team is, they always seem to play really well and win on Thanksgiving. So, I kind of got to go with Detroit. And I think Detroit could actually end up maybe upsetting the Bills this week simply by that fact alone.
Yeah. And if they're losing, guess what? Goff's throwing the football. So, you got an upside there. And then the question, pick one for a flex: Sky Moore, Rashad White, Kyron Williams, or Dulcich. Rashad White, baby, all day long. Super flex. Okay. Thank you, Castro. This super chat from Brian: need to start 2 wide receivers in a 0.5 PPR league: Christian Kirk, Pickens, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Paris Campbell, or Hollywood Brown. 2 wide receivers. I'm going to go Christian Kirk. And, it depends on Hollywood Brown's status and how he's looking, so we need to wait on that. But I think Pickens and Kirk for right now. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's consistent, but I don't think I could sit Kirk or Pickens for him. And I think Hollywood Brown could sit one of them, but we just got to kind of wait and see on that. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, Kirk, they're playing. Who's Jacksonville playing? They're playing.
Jacksonville is playing at home versus the Ravens, so it's a tough one.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one.
So Hollywood,
I almost want to. I'd go with Hollywood if he's up and going, but other than that, my next choice would be Peoples-Jones, probably maybe over Kirk, simply because of the matchup.
Yeah, Bucks at home versus the Bucks. I could get behind that. I think I'd probably go Hollywood and Pickens if Hollywood's good to go, which I kind of expect he will be. But then again, what if he's limited? I don't know. What if Kyler's status is important too for that? So Brian, we'll have to address this later, but for now,
where's the? Let's see, this is stupid because I should have known already, but I can't remember. Is Pittsburgh home this week or are they away?
Pittsburgh is.
It's a Monday night.
Yeah, they're away. They're in Indy. They're in Indy.
Yeah, Indy. So they're not playing in the elements.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see that Instagram story post I put up where Peyton Manning was yelling at Jeff Saturday when they were playing together? And he's like, "You don't call the plays. You don't call the plays." and he's just screaming at him. It's a great clip. And then in the clip says, well, now he does call the plays. But it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning was ripping into Saturday when they played together. Okay, so this next question. So, Brian, I would say right now Pickens and Kirk for me. Or maybe Peoples-Jones and Pickens, like Ron said. That might be safer, I suppose. Lost Cup wide receivers are Jamar Chase, Pickens, Burks, and holding Odell Beckham Jr. My running backs are Etienne, Cook, and Gibson and B-Rob. Got offered Debo for Cook straight up. What do you think? Well, I mean, your running backs are Etienne and Gibson and B-Rob, so it's going to leave you pretty vulnerable. But at the same time, you have Jamar Chase, Pickens, Burks. I would probably say you need to keep Cook, bro. I think some might say Debo after that game, but Debo's still going to be potentially. This is the Cardinals. This was the Cardinals who had actually put up a pretty good fight in the beginning until the defense got worn down and the offense was putrid. So the Cardinals D, they couldn't even tackle at the end of the game. Like that Kelsey touchdown shouldn't have happened. The Cardinals didn't even tackle him. So I don't know that I would just like take that game and try and extrapolate it across the season and be like, oh, now everybody gets to eat because Jimmy Garoppolo had such a big game. This is exactly what we talked about before the game. Jimmy Garoppolo could either have no touchdowns passing like he'd been doing, or he'd throw 2 or 3 passes to these electric, elusive weapons and they take it, 70 yards to the house like Debo did. And I know Jimmy G is capable of having these games once in a while for sure. But I'm not counting on Debo Samuel saving you in this scenario when you're going to deplete your running back situation. So I would probably rather have Cook. I worry about Cook, but at the same time, like Debo is not out of the woods for me for being up and down and being hot and cold. And I think that if you had a plethora of running back options, I would say go ahead and do it. But I would say no. Do you disagree, Ron? He's got Etienne, Cook, Gibson, B-Rob. But his wide receivers are Jamar Chase, Pickens, and Burks. I think if he gets rid of his Dalvin Cook, he's in trouble at running back.
Yeah, I obviously don't disagree because you offered me Debo, and I was like, nah. So, yeah, I don't disagree. I'm skeptical on Debo, too.
Yeah, and it's not that I hate Jimmy Texas Made 88, who says I hate Jimmy. I don't hate Jimmy. He's not a great quarterback, and I know everybody wants him to be that's a Niner fan. I get it, but if you speak to anybody outside of the 49ers environment or fan base, they're going to tell you he's capable because of the weapons around him, but that's the only reason. Like Jimmy G, if he goes anywhere else, he's not doing well. He's surrounded by the best offense in the in the NFL, in the National Football League. There's no offense that has more weaponry than the Niners. He better be decent. Like let's not kid ourselves. He's not a great quarterback. It's I don't hate Jimmy. I don't hate anybody. I don't like him as a fantasy football quarterback. Absolutely not. He hasn't thrown touchdown passes until that game. Like I mean, he threw a handful of them. I get it. It's he had a good game, but that doesn't mean that he's going to continue to. But
Didn't
he should.
Throw 2 the week before though? Didn't he throw 2 the week before this last game?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah. I thought he threw 2 the week before this game. So that's 5 in the last 2 weeks. That's not too bad. That's better than
No, he didn't. He threw 0 the week before.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He threw 2 the week. He threw 2 the week before the bye week.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where I saw it. That's because the bye was in there.
But he also had two. Okay. He also had 228 yards. It's not like, I don't know. Anyway, Lost Cup wide receivers Jamar Chase, Pickens. So yeah, I'm going to say no on that Dalvin Cook move. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Some guy says, "Yo, Smitty, I'm 8-3, first place in a 12-man superflex with Lance, Fields, Brady as my QBs. Do I sell Lance for T-Law in case Fields is out?" If you're in it to like win it this year, then you probably need to prepare like that. Not to mention, I mean, Trevor Lawrence and Lance, they're close anyway, and I don't know that Trey Lance is going to be set up to succeed in San Francisco. So I'm not as high as I was on Trey Lance before, I'm not going all in on Trey in 2023 because I don't trust Kyle Shanahan. So, yeah, I'm not rolling with him. I'm not saying Lance can't survive or do well or be what I thought he could be, but I'm just not trusting Shanahan right now. Dalvin Cook, Saquon, I would assume that's Zach Wilson, St. Brown, Jamar Chase, and Amari Cooper, who to start one flex. Dalvin Cook, Saquon, Wilson, St. Brown, Jamar Chase, and Amari Cooper, who to start one flex. I don't know what that means. You didn't give me your parameters, but I'll rank them in order of Saquon, and I'd probably say, do you like Zach Wilson or Dalvin Cook this week, Ron?
Is that Zach Wilson or is that Wilson?
Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson or Dalvin Cook. Who do you like better this week? I almost feel like Wilson's better.
I like Jeff Wilson, especially after the debacle that Minnesota had against Dallas in Minnesota. That was a train wreck.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with
I'm hoping back, but
Saquon Wilson.
Yeah, I like Jeff Wilson.
And then St. Brown, Jamar Chase, and then it's between Cooper. If you're talking about your flex, Cooper and Dalvin Cook, you got to go. I think you got to go Dalvin Cook, but like it's hard to sit Cooper. Maybe you can trade Cooper. I don't know if your trade deadline's gone, but I probably start all three of your running backs, and I go with St. Brown and Chase. It's hard to sit Cooper though.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
This will be Chase's first week back, so how rusty is he going to be, or how fluid is he going to be? That's another question.
Yeah, that's true. Pierce, Swift, Rachaad White, Pollard, P. Ryan, pick two. Pollard's locked in. P. Ryan depends on P. Ryan could be a good second option if Mixon's out, but I probably go with Rachaad White and Pollard myself. But Pierce, Swift, I don't know how you bench either one of those guys. That's so tough. Do you go Pierce or Rachaad White?
Well, yeah, you were right when you said Pierce has had a couple of weeks of bad games, but he's proven it for the most of the year. He's proven it. Rachaad White hasn't gotten to the point there. He's not all the way there yet for me because of his opportunities. Hasn't been all the way there yet. They're getting there, but they're not there yet. They're not to Pierce's level yet. So I'd almost have to go. For me, it would be Pierce.
Yeah, maybe Pierce is safer, but I mean, Rachaad White did have 105 yards, rushing. So like he did kind of. I know he hasn't proven it all year, but I mean, he did show us what he's capable of when he's starting, and it's kind of like.
Right, I'd like to see him do it a couple times, and then I'm going to be more confident in Tampa Bay giving them the opportunities, and hopefully they give him more opportunities to get some touchdowns and stuff like that. But I want to see that they're committed to White. Over for now. I want to see Tampa Bay basically give White Fournette's spot.
What do you guys think, Pierce or Rachaad White in the chat? Vote for Alexander. Alexander, thank you for your super chat. I was offered Lamb and Olave for Devontae Adams. Thoughts? I also have Chase, Godwin, Burks. If you have Chase and Godwin, then I just keep Devontae. Because you got Chase, Godwin, and Devontae. I don't think you need two wide receivers. So why divide up and then have a problem? Unless you start 4 wide receivers. And if you do, I still don't know that I do it, but I don't think you definitely don't do that if you can only start 3 wide receivers.
We got a comedian in the chat, Smitty.
Yeah.
Prime says Smitty and Ron Navy are like Regis and Kathy Lee.
As long as I'm Regis.
Hold a Prime. Jeez.
Lockett, Pickens, Rachaad White, Sutton, Burks, Slayton. Pick 2. Rachaad White and probably... That's tough between Lockett and Pickens, but I go Pickens myself, but I don't know. Burks is interesting. I'd probably go Rachaad White and Pickens myself. And that's a Monday night game for Pickens, so I kind of like that. But I can't blame anybody for going Lockett. I mean, Lockett is capable. Lockett, Pickens, Rachaad White, Sutton, Burks. Oh, that's the one I just... Yeah. You going...
Yeah, I'd I'd have to be Regis Smitty because I'm old like him. You're young, so you have to be Kathy Lee. Sorry about that.
Pickens or Lockett, Ron?
Pickens. Oh, geez. Pickens because of the Monday night and they're playing inside. I like Lockett, but damn. They're kind of both the same because both of them have the ability to go off, and they can go off at any time, and they both have the ability to, depending on the quarterback, geez, that's hard.
Yeah.
I almost want to say Lockett in a way. Who's Seattle play, and where do they play?
The Seattle game is at home against the Raiders.
Oh, Raiders are dreadful. Believe it or not, I'm gonna say oh God, I feel like a traitor if I say Lockett.
He's a good play.
But I think no matter I think it's pretty even no matter which way you go. Go with your gut. I'll go with Pickett because I'm a homer, and of course I love my Steelers. But go with your gut. It could go either way. I mean, I don't think Pickett is, or Pickens is. Just go with the gut.
All right, man.
I'm going to be a homer, and I'll pick Pickens.
All right, Ron, I'm going to let you jump. I got to get to some of those other super chats that are, I think, still rolling in. Let me see. And then I got to wrap up the show. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Smitty. Always great. And shout out to everybody in the chat. You're awesome. We have a wonderful group. Love you all, and talk to you later.
Ron Navy, the highest super chatter of the year. Top super chatter of the year. Appreciate you, Ron. All right, Ron Navy, everybody. Ron Navy. This one from Alexander. Need help. This is I have Fields, Carr, Chase, Higgins, Pittman, Kirk, Josh Jacobs. Let me drag this question on screen here. This is from Alexander. Carr, Chase, Higgins, Pittman, Kirk, Walker, Jacobs, Kamara, Mooney, Jeff Wilson Jr., Rashad White. Pick 2, Kamara, Wilson Jr., Pittman, or Kirk. Kamara and Wilson. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy, bro. And congrats on being a member of the channel for 2 years or 2 months on the exclusive membership. Ron Navy emojis being dropped. I thought CPA was the highest. No, Ron Navy beat CPA. Ron Navy dropped a $765 super chat. Anybody that drops that will replace. I'll put this at the top of the. I do this on most evening shows. Top super chatter of the year. So I put that up at the top. So if you want to own that real estate, all you got to do is drop it. Now this will reset on January 1. So someone will have the opportunity to become the highest super chatter of the year in a single live stream on January 1. Until then, Ron Navy holds the crown at 765. Pickens got Gilmore, says D. Elijah Moretime says Millie C. Maybe with Mike White in there. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Chase 100%. Higgins does better when Chase is on the field. That's true. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. So I'll see you guys at 7 p.m. tonight. I'm live whenever news breaks, which is this show right here. We've had all this breaking news going on, and we've been digesting it and breaking it down. So I'm glad you joined me. Don't forget that news just dropped about Justin Fields. I do wonder if this is going to result in some sort of bad news later for him. Injury is a separated shoulder with torn ligaments, said Justin Fields, and apparently, it's being left up to him whether he wants to play, which I don't think is a smart move. If I was Justin Fields, and I know that fantasy owners don't want to hear this, but if I was Justin Fields, I don't think I would be rolling out anymore until that was healed up, because his future is on the line, and this team is 3-8. So why do it? I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight Eastern. And Rush, man, you can rewatch it. Appreciate you, man. I'm not saying he's not going to play. I'm not saying that, but I would say there's some question. It's questionable. I don't know. We'll see. Garrett Wilson will be fantasy relevant against his hot prime. Fields, you better sit, says Attaboy. All right, guys. I'll see you all at 7 p.m. Appreciate you, Terry. Thank you, Ron Navy. Ron Navy's the man. Terry's the man.
If you stop sending me these terrible fantasy football trade offers now, that will be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will tell the commissioner on you.
Hey, also real quick, leave a comment. Your boy Smitty tries to answer every comment in the chat. I'm a little behind from last night, but leave me a comment. I'll try going through. I usually spend like a couple hours going through my videos, the most recent ones. I don't go back 2 or 3 or 4 videos, but the most recent 1 and 2 videos that I have up on YouTube, I try and hit as many comments as I can. So please go check out the comment section. Leave a comment, drop a like, leave just a thumbs up. Help your boy Smitty get the engagement up on all these videos. The thumbs up help a ton. I'll see you all later, and I'll leave you with this.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.